after philosophy, indexing, we're going to talk about blocks, but a special kind of blocks, which are actual building blocks. So we're going to talk about what we've tried and build with Briq, and then Slow will talk a bit about how it happens under the hood. What we've started to do with Briq was started from the realization after the whole loot thing that if you really want to boil down what's really interesting about NFTs and what it really helped capture, is that it was a reification machine. People suddenly went, oh, that's a real thing that exists that I can assign value to. So following up on this, we thought, okay, we really want to have composable thing. We want to have people build things that are both composable and interoperable. But the problem that you run into is, oh, I've got a Bored Ape, I've got an Axie, and there's no way these two things are mixing together because in the real world, things just do not mix. You have a Klimt, you have a Picasso, and they just don't suddenly start mixing together if you don't have a canvas. So we started from this and we thought, okay, is there an example in the physical world where things mix and interoperate quite well? And there is. The tweet actually is after Briq's creation, but it actually plays into our own thing. It's building blocks. So we just thought, hey, has anyone been dumb enough to try and actually build a building block system on chain? Answer is no, because it's pretty difficult and expensive, so that's what we tried to do. So Briq is basically an NFT building protocol that revolves around bricks stored on chain. They're 1155, and they've got the neat property of being able to be combined into a single NFT. You disassemble them, you get your bricks back, and you can do just basically something else. Extremely simple, but the thing is, once you build something with Briq, you do know that it's going to be able to be composed with anything else that is built with Briq, because mentally, you just know that a cube goes next to another cube, and the on-chain description of this thing is just a 3D matrix. So, oh, it doesn't seem to work. So we built a whole little app here. You just build something. This thing can be an NFT. And we let people run free. So they built a whole bunch of shit, and usually just crash stocknet, testnet pretty often. You recognize on the left-hand side the caves and caverns or realms dungeons. And the vision, which is like very hand-wavy, is that, okay, if you really want to have people build NFTs, currently you either need to be a designer or a developer. So how about you just give them the very simple primitive of building blocks and help them build shit that then can get carried over into different games or different universes. So that's about that. We've done 2 sales so far. One of them was these neat little boxes that you opened up and you got to build following a little instruction. We're actually making a check on chain that you're building the correct shape. So even if you're building the same thing and you've got the bricks, you're not going to get the metadata until you're able to pass the test on chain that you've built the correct thing. And one guy found us. So Jay talked about we're the first generation world builder. This guy's the second generation. He found us and went, oh, that's actually pretty neat. Let me build an NFT collection on top of this. And for some reason, he just really, really likes ducks. So he's built 200 little ducks out of bricks, and he's got his own little sub-collection. So if you follow the instructions, like this guy is, let's say, sharding the brick world into his own sub-collection, and anything that this guy has built can be composed with anything else that was built before using the bricks. That's about that. I'll leave the floor to Lancelot.
Yeah, so one of the reason we wanted to do this was to build something that was under-specified. You can make anything you want, but if you can make anything you want, the question is, how can we tell what you've made? You know, kind of obviously. And we wanted the NFTs that people make to have a few traits. The first thing that we wanted was that it should be obvious that when you transfer the NFT, you also transfer the stuff that it's made of, the bricks, because otherwise you have like this complete breakdown of reality around you. We wanted the NFTs to have characteristics that you could like claim / recognize / attribute on chain. And this led us to wanting a way to identify the actual original NFTs made by the artists in the sub-collection. So like, for example, the ducks, you can make the same thing as one of the existing ducks. And on-chain, they're going to be kind of undifferentiable if you don't have a way to, well, to mark one of them as being made by, well, being part of a real collection, because technically they're created by the address of the author. So, you know, you could differentiate them like that. Yeah, so for transferring the NFT, we didn't do something too big brain. So we're in StarkNet, which has native account abstraction, and we kind of just use that. What we've done is treat the NFTs as a smart wallet, and we just transfer the ownership of the 1155 tokens to the NFT. And so when you transfer the NFT, it retains the ownership of the underlying token, and so you can, you automatically get the token alongside of it. It's no extra cost, except when you're actually minting or destroying. You have like this assembly, disassembly pattern like Lego. You can unmake something and make something different. And that's when we need to have some special handling, but we needed to check that you have enough bricks to mint the thing anyways, so that wasn't too expensive. The second thing, which is way more involved and which I'm glossing over here, is that the NFTs have characteristics that you can claim on-chain. So the way they did that is that we have a special contract that we call the attributes registry, which holds all of the characteristics of our NFTs. And when you're minting a new NFT, as part of the assembly function, so as part of the minting function, we're actually calling this contract and claiming attributes. So you can claim to mint a duck from the Ducks Everywhere collection. And this is the point where we call a separate function that holds the 3D shape and that checks that what you're minting is actually matching on-chain what we know to be a ducks. We also check that you own a separate asset that validates that you are indeed the owner of the ducks collection. And the cool thing about this is that we could have any kind of precondition. We thought about doing things like my NFT is red. My NFT floats. You can literally encode any condition because everything is fully on-chain. You have the 3D matrix. So if you're doing an on-chain game, you could ask for, well, my NFT looks like a sword, and then I'm going to give you the sword attribute, and you play with it like a sword, which is kind of cool. Yeah, and so this is what we leverage to do the collection thing. We basically required a third-party, third NFT, which we call the booklet, which you see on the left here, which is basically instructions on how to build your thing. And if you own that official booklet, you can make the official NFT. If you don't own the official booklet, you can still make the same NFT in terms of 3D shape, but you won't get the on-chain attributes, you won't get the metadata in the marketplaces, which is what people want. And like we're talking about autonomous worlds, and people want to see on OpenSea that they have rarity 1 out of 1,000. It's kind of a sad world. Anyways, and yeah, and one of the cool things that it allows us to do customization on the NFT collection. So it's not super visible here, but on the booklet, like the back of the dog thing is blue, and the one you see on the right is one I've minted myself, and I changed the colors to be yellow, and on-chain we're allowing you to change some of the colors of your NFT so that you can have customization, for example. That's one of the cool things about having any kind of function to give you these attributes, is that you can do things that are more elaborate. And this is like just a very quick summary slide. 1155 tokens get transferred to the NFT. We check the ownership in a different contract, and we have a very flexible system of giving you on-chain attributes for your NFTs. And this is kind of the type of things that people are now building as part of, I think, Mother Dojo, giving you this structure around on-chain attributes that you can then leverage for any kind of other game. I think this was basically the last slide. So as the Briq team, we're on StarkNet. Right now we're building what we call the Briq Factory. You're going to be able to buy bricks directly and make your own things. I don't know if you're following StarkNet, but a lot of things are happening. If you want to talk about Cairo as well, there's myself and Terrence probably that you can talk to here today. And a big gaming ecosystem on StarkNet as well. So yeah, let's talk about that.